Good evening and welcome to another live stream, live from beautiful Abruzzo. It's home in Italy again. What are you thinking about this? With 3 weeks on the trot, can you believe it? Is this with this Wednesday thing is working? We're actually sticking to it, and we're not cancelling any. Have you noticed that? You also notice I can't get my words out tonight. My brain's in all different directions today because we've been to the notary office, and congratulations to our new purchasers. So we're a little bit sort of yeah. So if I seem a little bit vacant today, then you know why. And I can hear some of you saying, yeah, like always. Thank you. And Tony's also making those sorts of faces. I can see him on the little screen. Hope everybody is doing well. Extremely warm again here in Abruzzo. We did have a day yesterday that was a little bit strange, that cooled the temperatures down from 34, 35 degrees Celsius, whatever that is in Fahrenheit, to a nice cool 24 yesterday. But it's certainly getting up a little bit now. Here's Troy. Hi, Troy, and Tanya from Nova Scotia, and Pretza. He always has to add that to the end of it, doesn't it? Always, always, always. And tonight's live stream is the big, massive Q&A. So please remember, folks, try not to write any questions at the moment, because if you do, they may get lost. Tony can only sort of so many things can enter his brain. Tony, the producer, I'm talking about now. So we do have to wait a little while for the questions, so he doesn't have to keep going back and skipping through the chat. So I will tell you as soon as possible when you can start posting questions. So this evening we have got Tony. You can get rid of that now if you like. Oh, Pacentro Pete's on as well. Look, hi from Iranian cool Pacentro. So this evening, what have we got? What have we got? I can't even remember. We've got Domenico and Tony's tongue-twisting trials. Can't we get a shorter cheer rather than that? We've got stunning photo of the week. We've also got, I complained last week that nobody sent any jokes in, really bad jokes in, but I have had a few jokes sent in, so I'm going to say one of them. It's a shocking joke, but I'm going to say it anyway. So that is, what's that called again, Tony? Can you remember? Some fun time in the sunshine. So we've got a bit of that coming up, and then obviously the usual Q&A sessions. So a few little notices for you. What am I going to say? If you have, or if you're looking for a rental property in Abruzzo, then make sure you get in touch with our friends at Renting Abruzzo. Tony's just knocked it out. There you go. rentingabruzzo@gmail.com. So if you're looking for long-term or short-term rentals, or maybe looking to get a rental, a 12-month rental to be able to apply for your elective residency visa, then get in touch with our friends, and I'm sure they'll have something for you. You've got things around Sulmona, Raiano. I can't remember the other places. I should be able to remember. And there's one in Palombaro as well, Lama di Peligna. So lots of places I'm sure that they can help you out with. So just contact there. Just make sure you spell everything correctly, especially Abruzzo, because lots of people spell it with double B. But there it is again. So have a look at that. Give them an email, and I'm sure they'll be able to help you with some properties. The tours, the autumn tour dates, which I've already spoke about. I'm going to next week. I think we'll probably show off a few more photographs of the tours, because these are excellent things to come and get an idea of the area. So if you're the kind of person that needs to be here and be a little bit touchy-feely about the area before you consider purchasing, then come along on one of the tours, because the tours, we have a couple of days together. We tend to see around 20 properties. I think the last tour we saw 24 properties in 2 days. We covered about 9 or 10 areas over the 2 days as well. So it's a great way to see the area without thinking about driving or anything like that. And you're part of a group as well. We eat together, we have plenty of fun together. They are brilliant things, and especially just to come over and have a good introduction to the area. So if you are interested in joining us this autumn, the September, I mentioned September because I've got my piece of paper here. September, sorry about this. There is only 6 spaces left on the September one. So October, there's still 22 spaces left. So there's quite a few there. And then November, the 6th and 7th, there's lots of spaces on November. But I am expecting September to pretty much close off. anytime now. That's September the 25th and 26th, and then we expect then October and November to start filling up. So if you are interested in one of the tours, you can also see information on the website www.ahomeinaitaly.com /tours, or you could just go onto the homepage and you'll see tours written there. So that's the tour dates. I'm going to talk about Patreon a little bit later because I still have a number of questions about what we do. So I want to start off the Q&A answering from a few people that's been asking about the kind of services we offer and that kind of thing. So I'm going to go through that quickly as well before we get on to the Q&A. So what else have I got to tell you? I think that's about it. Shall we do stunning photo of the week? Let's do stunning photo of the week first. So this I don't know if it could be classed as a stunning photograph of the week, and I'll tell you why shortly. This has been sent in by Linda, and it was from her husband Jim. They bought a fantastic property in Pacentro, not far from Pacentro Pete, an absolutely amazing property in Pacentro, and they sent me, when I find it, Tony's supposed to put this on, but I'll put it on, seeing as though he's obviously fallen to sleep. They sent me this photograph, and it is a stunning photograph, but there is a slight negative to it. So Linda and Jim came on one of our tours. I think it was sometime last year. I can't remember which tour they were on, and we finished in on the Trabocchi coastline. It was a little bit sort of windy at that time, so I'm guessing that's possibly I can't remember which tour it was. Anyway, nice photograph, great photograph of the coastline. The slight problem is that person that sat on the bench is actually Tony. Tony. Tony, I
thought I recognised that head from somewhere.
But can I just ask you why? Why were you sat there on your own?
I was just waiting for everybody.
I mean, we were part of a tour group, and that's you.
Well,
sat on your own.
I think that was the tour where Rachel went swimming, was it?
No, I think it's an earlier one.
Was it an earlier one?
I think it's an earlier one. I can't remember when Linda and Jim were on, but it was quite a while ago. But I didn't realise it was you until...
When you first put it up, I thought, I'll recognise him.
So there you go. That's the stunning photograph of the week. So just ignore the person sat on the bench and we'll accept that as stunning photo of the week. So thank you very much, Linda and Jim, who took the photograph. And please send us more photographs. I love getting your stunning photos of the week. It's always nice to see them. They don't have to be in Abruzzo. They don't have to be in Italy. They can be anywhere you like. I've got a few to show over the next few weeks, but I am running low on them now. So please send me a few of those. It's always good fun. Tony rocks on the rocks. Yeah, that's about right, Darren. Yeah, I suppose I'll let you. Not a bad one. Okay, so let's just quickly do. Tony, I'll bring you back on for this one. Just one sec. What was that? I imagine Tony gives it right back to you, Dave. If not, he should. He does sometimes. He does. Tony, I'm going to bring you on.
Oh, good boy.
It's your favourite thing, look.
It's
fun time in the sunshine. Are you ready? We have to. People have got to send jokes in. We have to do it because there's too many miserable things going off in the world. It's actually depressing at the minute what's going off in the world.
I'm feeling a little bit more cheerful today. So.
Are you? Yeah. Well, get ready for this one because this one. Not sure how this is going to go down. This is actually Troy. If we find Troy, that's always.
Oh, this is bound to be funny. This is bound to be funny.
Well, you'll see. So this is actually from Troy's 78-year-old mum. He never actually said what his mum's called, so we'll just call her. I just thought we'd just call her Mama 78. That's in fact no, we're doing Italian. Mama 78. That's what we'll call Troy's mum. Are you ready for this?
Yep.
Right, I'm gonna say. How do I know this now? Here we go. Hold on.
What are we doing?
Right.
Where do cows go on their first date?
You ready?
Yep. The movies. I quite like that.
I mean that is bad, isn't it?
That's about the state of my humour. That is.
That's about your level, isn't it? That, and that's no disrespect to Mama Setandotto, because she's got an excuse. No, because she's not old at all. 78 is nothing these days.
Only
But
10 years older than me.
But I think people of that era of that is when there used to be terrible jokes around.
Yeah.
So there you go. But thank you so much, Troy's mom. I wish we knew your name, but we don't. But as I said, we're going to call you Mama Setandotto. Thank you so much for sending in a joke. And I did have a couple of people send in. So keep sending them in. Let's have a little bit of fun while we're doing everything as well. There. We need to. Anyway, what are you still doing on? How come you're... There you go. Anyway, so moving on. So we're getting close to that. Oh, God. I forgot. I knew there was a reason why I kept him on. It's now time. It's time. Let's quickly get onto this, and then we can get on with the Q&A. It is time for Tony and Domenico's tongue twisting.
Hey, back again, look.
What's Kent saying? Hey, Dave and Tony. We've had an excellent time on the tour. So many beautiful towns. Impossible to choose the right one. Thank you very much, Kent. Really appreciate you that. Okay, are you ready?
Good thing down, can you?
No. Are you ready for this? This one's a bit easier.
I'm ready for this.
This one's a little bit easier. It's a little bit. Well, it's not long, but it's a little bit easier for you. But I'm not sure because it's 1-1 at the minute, isn't it? From Wednesday nights, because I won the first one last week. Anybody that's on here for the first time, by the way, Domenico and Tony's tongue twisting trials. Basically, what we're doing here, Tony is going to speak in his best Italian, a famous quote from a famous film. Later in the show, Domenico is going to come on and say it in his best English, and at that point, you can guess the film. Are you ready?
Are you going to send it, or are you just going to yabba, 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 yabba?
I'm sending it now. I should have probably done that while I was yabba yabbering.
You obviously can't do two things at once, can you?
Exactly. It's not. It looks long. It's not long. There's some. I've
taking a hold of my screen.
But I put paragraphs in there. That's why, and spaces and stuff like that, just to help you. Right. Are you ready? I've just got on my right hand side. I've just got this blue screen that just says the movies in big letters. I need to get rid of that. Mama Setandotto's joke. There you go. That's better. Tony, are you ready?
Yeah, go on. I might as well.
Listen carefully, everybody, to Tony's Italian.
Wait a minute.
What are you drinking?
Dolciana di Abruzzo.
Is that what you're drinking?
Yeah.
So you purposely put it in a tumbler rather than a wine glass just because you didn't want people to know you were drinking. Very
like Ribena.
Yeah. Okay.
Still buy that now, Ribena.
Come on then.
Okay. I'm going to start laughing. Sorry.
No,
for some reason, Ribena was funny. It's probably funnier than the movie.
Ladies and gentlemen, I do just 1 second. Let me just speak to these on my own. I do apologize for this slight interval, this slight break in the show. Are you ready?
Yeah, I'm ready.
Right, you've got to say this, but this has got to be quite emotional. So you're quite upset, as you're saying. But you're very upset. Okay.
Okay.
Go.
Sono stanco soprattutto del male che gli uomini fanno a tutti gli altri uomini. Stanco di tutto il dolore che io sento, che ascolto nel mondo ogni giorno. Ce n'è troppo per me. È come avere pezzi di vetro conficcati in testa sempre, continuamente. Lo capisci questo? That was actually good, that tone. That was actually, you did very well there. You know what it is? It's Montepulciano di Abruzzo. It is. Yeah, that's what you need to do. Drink Montepulciano and you're fluent in Italian. I hate to admit it, but that was pretty good. Well, thank you, David. See you later. No, sorry to cut you off. Not really. Anyway, so that's Domenico and Tony's tongue twisting trial. So later on in the show, Domenico is going to come along and he will do his best in English. And remember that when I do these, it's sort of it's relevant to what's happening at the moment. So that's sort of a little bit of a hint. Okay, so we're going to start with the Q&A. Just hold on to your questions just for a short amount of time because I just want to, lots of people have been contacting me saying,
if I find a property, can you help? The answer is always yes. If I'm looking for a certain type of property, are you able to help me, or can you send me details of the properties that you may have that suit me? We do get a lot of people asking that. So I wanted to talk about, because I've always been straight with you guys. When we've done over the years that myself and my wife started a home in Italy, we've been developing things as we go along, obviously tailoring it to the needs of people. We worked in an estate agents. We were the co-founders of the estate agents, and we worked with them for a number of years. Then when COVID hit, things completely changed, and we felt that we needed to move in another direction, as mentioned before. And we had to throw the net out a little bit, if you like, because we were suddenly going out and doing this on our own instead of with our old business partners. And then obviously as time's gone on, we've started to pull the net in a little bit and specialize in certain things. Now, obviously there's lots of people, I would say 95%, maybe more, of the sales that we're doing at the moment are all remote purchasing. Now, it's remote purchasing that come from two things. It can be people that's been on the tour, on a tour, that's seen the area, love the place, and then find see a property video, maybe one of Saturday's property videos, and snap that up because they've been there. They may not have seen the house, but they've seen the area and they feel more confident. That's one type. The second type is, again, people that's come on tours and seen a property and then gone away and left it with us to do. And that can also be the same for people that's buying from, I don't know, maybe you found a property in another area and it's a private sale and you want us to help, and we look after everything remotely in that way. And the other type, which is really, really, really common, and we've spoken about this a lot, is the type of people that see a property video, never been here before, never been to Italy before, never been to Abruzzo before, and see a video and think, yes, that's the one. And you'd be amazed how many people do that. And the success rate on the channel, on the YouTube channel from Saturday's videos is very, very high. Success rate in the sense of the number of sales. Now, lots of people on YouTube, I sometimes read the comments, and I don't let comments get to me, but lots of people will talk about the channel and say, you know, I could half it and stop waffling and things like that, which people know that I like to have a little bit of a waffle. But the main thing that we do is thank you, Francis. I know you are. The Lean on Me service for us has been outstanding. Stopped us losing lots of money, and I wish it was a different story. You're gonna have to come on one day. We're gonna have to talk about this situation. But very kind of you to keep writing the way you do, even though things have not worked out how we wanted them. Anyway, so I've completely lost where I was now. The videos, when I do the Saturday videos, I use the word YouTube it very loosely because I'm not a YouTuber. This is, even though obviously when I'm with the kids, my kids and the kids' friends, then I always say I'm a YouTuber just to annoy them. But it was never about becoming a YouTuber, so to speak. Obviously, the channel helps a huge amount, but it's always been about getting people in properties, always, and always will be, because that's what we do. So the difference between us and a YouTuber is, you know, you get some YouTubers that will say that it makes no difference to them whether a property sells or not, and they're unbiased and all that. And I get the unbiased thing, because you need to be. We're very careful in the properties that we choose. So the properties we put on, we believe in them. The properties we put on, I would buy. And if I wouldn't buy it, then I wouldn't try and sell it to somebody else. Even though I dare say there would be lots of people that would love some of the houses that I've been to and refused. But I have to be enthusiastic about it. And it's impossible to take on all the houses. It's just impossible. So we do take it really, really personal, the properties that we choose. And so in that respect, we are unbiased, because I just tell you how the property is. And I spend a lot of time talking and waffling and all the rest of it, because the most important thing is to get you into that property. And to get you serious into that property, then you need to see everything. So you need to hear everything. You need to listen to me waffle on for 45 minutes or whatever it is, because that is the most important thing. If I was doing it for YouTube only and to get money from YouTube, then I would cut the video in half and probably double up on the amount of views or take it down to 15 or 20 minutes. But that's not what we do. We get people into houses. That is what we do. Whereas most YouTubers will shoot the video and it's great. It's publicity for them as a YouTuber, and it's also publicity for the agent. That's all well and good. But they don't do anything afterwards. Now, we take care of everything and do everything. And I need to know that the properties that you're looking at, you've seen absolutely every inch of it. And that's why the Saturday properties are so expensive, so extensive, if you like. Now, sometimes, and I will explain how Patreon works, now that's going to change things slightly as well. There are other types of videos, and lots of people buy videos from a much shorter video that we publish on Patreon. And I'm going to talk about that in a second as well, because that's something new that I'm also going to bring to YouTube. But that's why we take our time doing what we do on the YouTube channel, because I'm not a YouTuber. I'm all about getting you into properties. So people watching the channel that just want to nosy a little bit into Italian properties, that's great. They'll be the ones that skipping through it, fast forward, and use the fast forward. Then you get the people that like to also have a pause and moan and everything else and say that I sound ridiculous and I repeat myself and why do I do this, and giving me all of the advice. Some advice is great, but at the end of the day, we do what we do. But those that are interested in buying the properties will sit and watch everything, because it's important to do that. Now, that is what we do. That is our main thing. And the way people come to us, when people send me an email and say, is this property still available? And I always mention to them, and it's all over the website and all over YouTube as well, to see the properties that are available. You go onto our website or you go onto YouTube. On the website, you click on properties. It then takes you to a page where you click on another button and it takes you to the available property list on our YouTube channel. And that is what is available. That's what's available. And I update it all the time. And it's important that we keep that to the sending you to the YouTube list rather than having a website full of houses, because we're not, as I said before, we're not estate agents. That's not what we do. We handpick things. So that's the best way to find out what's available and what's not available. But lots of people will then send me an email saying, is this still available? Have you got anything else like that? Or can you look for something for me? Now, it's so difficult to do that, and it's so difficult to speak to people one-on-one and find out exactly what you need and then write a list out of everything and get back to I would love to get everybody into a property over here. I really would. I would love to do that. It's impossible to be able to do that. And if I write your information down, you tell me you've got 100,000 budget, you want a townhouse in a busy town, or with a train station and with this and with that and the other. If another 20 people give me the same thing, what are we supposed to do? How do I manage that then? It's impossible to manage, because if I get something that fits 20 people, who do I contact first? Who do I show loyalty to first? So that's not what we're about. That's why we do what we do. And unfortunately, it also means that we have less contact with you in the beginning, which is why we do these shows every week. So we've got contact, but the contact comes once you've found yourself a property. Now, a big thing, what is happening now, is Patreon. Patreon has becoming a really, it's a great club of people up to now. And it's sort of what we do on Patreon, as well as getting early access to the Saturday properties. So people on Patreon, usually on a Thursday, will have access to the property that will come out on the Saturday, because Patreon members are people that are ready. They're ready to buy. They're really looking for something. And we've had a huge success rate from Patreons buying properties, not only from early access to the Saturday properties, but because on Patreon, we also put what we call agents videos on there. So agents send us videos, or send me videos for me to look at the house. They say, look, Dave, we think this one's a contender for the YouTube channel. I will have a look through it and decide whether I think it is. not necessarily based on whether the house is good or not, but also if we've shown 3 properties in Palombarro in the last month and we get another one in Palombarro, I don't want to keep showing Palombarro, and so on and so on. And also with the time constraints that we have when we do these property videos, we have to choose in a certain way. So we're going to an area where, like tomorrow, for instance, I'm out with Domenico, we're doing Vittorito, we're doing Prezza, and we're also going to look at some in Sulmona. So I tried bundle them together. And what the agents properties do, because we do get some brilliant agents properties, but I can say, well, I've just done a video or just done 2, as I say, in Palombarro. Don't really want to do another one straight away now. I'd rather leave it for another month. So what we do then is we put access to these agents videos. They're much shorter, which might suit some people. They're usually spoken in Italian because it's by the agents. But instead of me holding on to them, now we publish them on Patreon. So every Wednesday, like for instance, today, Patreon members got to see a property in Atessa for 55,000 euros, including all fees and taxes, with a little roof terrace in the centre of Atessa, is a great town. And that was a video brought by our agent Claudio. So people have got to see that. Now, for you, for the general public, if you want to call it, to see that, in the past, it's never been possible because I've just done Saturday videos. Now what we've decided to do is release midweek agent videos, which we're going to give it a trial, hopefully in July, even if it's a couple of weeks, to see how it goes, because they are completely different videos to Saturdays, but they will be released on Tuesdays or Wednesdays. And these will be agent videos that have been on Patreon and then left a couple of weeks for Patreons to have first look at them, and then put onto the YouTube channel. So that is something that we're going to be adding. But that's what we do. Professor, I can't read that. Is that Professor Zorro? Really friendly Patreon community. Obvious advantages for property searching, but also a great space to make connections with fellow Italophiles. Thank you very much for writing that. And that's what we want to do. The Patreon is becoming a community, and I really want to build on that as well, because I think that's a really important thing. So Patreon, yes, there is a charge. I'm not pushing Patreon to make a fortune from Patreon, because it costs 14 euros per month, 14, and it's mainly to cover costs, because by the time Patreon have had what they want out of it, the Italian taxman have had what they want out of it, then we're left with very little. But that's fine. That's not what we do it for. But it's a great way to see these properties before anybody else, but then we will be adding to them to a channel as well. So lots of people that are saying, you know, how they're still unsure how we work. That's what we do. For people that wouldn't dream of buying remote until they've been here first, that's the tours. You need to go on the tours. For people that would just buy out here and they're ready and everything else, then that's the video properties. Patreon is for everybody. Patreon is for people that are serious about buying a property in the next 12 months, something like that. And that's what this is. That's what this is all about. Outside of that, there isn't much room left for it, because we can't always take people round to see properties that come out and say, I'm there in a month's time, can we book to see properties? Patreon members, we do make the space for them, and ex-tour members as well. But we do have limited time because of the way the business runs and because of the amount of signings that we do each week at the notary as well. So hopefully that's answered. That was a long question. That was a long answer, should I say. But hopefully that just gives you a little bit more of an idea of what we do and how we work, because it is important. I don't want people to feel let down. It may not suit everybody the way we do it. And properties do tend to go quick. And I know people can be frustrated at that. But that's what it's all about. It's about getting people into properties. That's the main thing. And this is the way we do it. We're not agents. We have agents that work with us. And that's how it's done. Is that enough, Tony? Have I explained that? That's the expression of the week from Tony. Okay, I suppose we better start doing some questions now. I do have some that people have written down, and just for future, everybody as well, if you do have questions for the Q&A sessions, please send them. Even if you send them way in advance, it's no problem at all. I will keep them and I will ask them. So send them to info@homeanditaly.com, and obviously I will do them. Okay, Tone is looking confused now. He's looking for down the list. People can start sending questions now. I don't think anybody sent any in yet, which really for a Q&A. That's not very good, is it? Oh, here we go. Question. This is from Madi Azar. Is there a loophole for buying a car? I get asked this so many times. Want to buy a house and car without residency and citizenship? Maddie, the simple answer is, and I'm really sorry, I get asked this all the time, but unfortunately, unless you are a resident, then you cannot own a car in Italy. That's just the way it is. It's a simple rule. They just won't. They won't do it, because to have and also that does apply for quite a few other countries. I was surprised that France they allow it, but even in the UK. If an Italian wanted to buy a car in the UK, then they may have an address there, but the first thing the insurance company will ask is if they've got a full UK license, and also about residency, if you're a resident in the country or not. So there are a number of countries that won't allow it, but this is one of them. And as for loopholes, there aren't any. I've heard, not that I would do it, and obviously it's not strictly. Well, it is legal, I suppose, to a certain extent, but I certainly wouldn't risk it. And I have heard that there are some people that will buy a car, or you buy the car, and you basically put it in somebody else's name that lives here. The obvious risk to that is that it's then their car. So you could buy it and they could do whatever they want with it. But I have heard some people will do that and charge you for the privilege of that. But I don't know if that's strictly legal, and it's a bit of a risk. But unfortunately, it just doesn't happen. Davide just mentioned, and citizenship is irrelevant. That's exactly right as well. It doesn't matter if you're in Italian. It applies to everybody. It applies to Italians. It applies to Americans, English, Canadian, wherever you are. It applies to us all, unless you're resident. So I'm a resident. I can buy a car. I'm a Brit, but I can buy a car because I'm resident, and that's the difference. So whereas some of my wife's aunties and uncles who are Italian but they live in the UK, they can't buy one here. That's just the way it is. And Pete, Pacentro Pete, good to hear from you, Pete. You can rent a car long term. There are people who rent out cars for 250 to 300 per month. That is true. There are a few, and there's going to be more and more of those people cropping up. There are a few in that area around the Sulmona area that you can rent long term, and you can get them for these sorts of prices. They're not going to be amazing cars. They're not going to be sort of top of the range cars, and they may not be new cars, but there are more and more people that are seeing a little bit of a hole in the market for this kind of thing, and starting to do this rental. So it is good to keep an eye out. Have we got some more questions? Okay. David Casassa, as I know him as. I think it's Casassa, that's right, isn't it? Guardia Grelle, population 8,000 people, is often cited as a great resource for the smaller surrounding community. But it also sounds like a nice place to live. Will we see any properties listed there? Great question. And David has snapped himself up, or David, as he likes to call himself on here, a fantastic property in very nearby Piedimonte. So, David, you've got 5 minutes in the car and you will be in Guardia Grelle. It's a strange one. Guardia Grelle is a great town, a brilliant town. We go there quite often, and there's a great market on a Sunday. From Palombaro, it takes me in the car 15 minutes, something like that. Great town. The problem with Guardia Grelle, for me, is two things. There's not many properties available there, and they're ridiculously expensive. And it's been like that for a long time. And for what you get, it's just not, it's difficult to get them. And it's difficult to get them with any sort of outdoor space and good views and things, even though there are great views from Guardia Grelle. It's just not so easy. And I can't justify some of the prices that come out of there. I really can't. And I know people could say, well, it may be a thriving area and things like that, but that's not what it's like. It's a brilliant town, don't get me wrong, and it's a tourist town. It's got the restaurants. Personally, I think Guardia Grelle is for what you said, David, before about servicing the smaller towns, such as Piedimonte that you're buying in. Guardia Grelle is best for me for that reason, to be a sort of a town for these satellite villages, if you like. So me coming from Palombaro, I would either go to Guardia Grelle or Casuli. They're the two places. Guardia Grelle, if it's more of a sort of night out restaurant, that kind of thing. and Carsally more sort of market bar and that kind of atmosphere, if you like. As a town itself, not sure. I would like to find some in the centre, but they're very few and far between. Then I've never come across a great one and been excited about it, to be honest with you. And that's my problem. But as a town, it is something to be excited about, and it's something. It's just a great town. But I think the first part of your statement was correct, that it's a great town for nearby towns and village. Francis, what's your opinion on auctions? Considering what you've gone through, Francis, I would just say leave them alone. I don't know. It's something. Somebody put me off auctions a long time ago, and there's the obvious thing: you need to be here. If you're going for auctions, you need to also have somebody you can really trust. But I wouldn't say somebody like me, not because you can't trust me. That sounds terrible to say that. It needs to be something like a geometer. It needs to be somebody like a geometer that can jump on the documents instantly, because obviously everything's a rush with auctions, and you need somebody to jump on the documents instantly and be ready to get the documents ready that needs to get ready in the time allocated. The problem is, somebody put me off a while ago, and maybe it's just something that stuck with me, and because I never thought about it this way, and it was a long time ago. We were looking at some places in Chieti, and which incidentally, I've got a new contact in Chieti that hopefully is going to bring some properties in the city of Chieti. But somebody said that they bought from auctions and bought some fantastic properties, but he said, don't expect to be a friend. He wouldn't live in them, he said to me. Don't expect people to treat you in a friendly way. And basically what he was saying was, obviously when things go to auction, the vast majority of time it's because somebody has struggled to pay the mortgage and they've had it taken off them and the rest of it. And it could be a family, or it could be elderly people. And the locals, because of the way community is here, the locals tend not to sorry, I don't know what happened then. Tend not to treat investors that are maybe benefiting from somebody else's bad time in their life. And obviously, I can understand, especially here, because community is such a big thing. So, and that person told me that years and years and years ago, and he was an investor, and he says, you buy it to invest in, to rent in. He said, I wouldn't live in any of them because, you know, things may not go well for the first 6 months to 12 months. So that sort of did put me off, I've got to be honest with you. And that's been my take on it. I just haven't really got into them, to be honest with you. Okay, next question. Have you got any, Tone? I wish you could see the face. Can I just bear with me 1 second? I need to just double check something on my camera. Just 1 second. You should still be able to hear my voice, but I just need to check something. I've got a strange setting coming up on my camera. See if I don't think, Tony, you can see everything all right? Yeah, it's saying yeah. Okay, Professor Zorro. Okay, for renovations work, are there ample trustworthy contractors waiting to work, or will there be a wait before you can hire a good team? Okay, again, great question. It's a tough one, that one, because trustworthy workers is not a problem. It's the time, and this has all come since the famous 110 that the Italian government did during COVID time. It was an excellent incentive where basically lots of people took advantage, and lots of apartment blocks took advantage of the government basically making their properties more energy efficient, new roofs, new everything, and paying for it. And they call it 110, 110, because they gave 10% extra that went towards all the geometers and maybe architects and everybody else involved needed to do these things. Since they did that, it was an incredible thing from the government, and kept building sites and builders in business during COVID time and after, and it's still happening now. Unfortunately, what that did then was meant there's a huge shortage of builders, because people are, obviously, if they can work on a 110, if it's money coming from somewhere else, you can guarantee the prices will always be higher than anywhere else. So builders are gonna love that. So it has made it a little bit difficult. So I would say there are, this side of the mountain, we do have a brilliant engineer that we work with now. Is also, his wife is an estate agent that work with us, and he is doing things in reasonable times, as in he works with so many building teams that he works with all the time. So he's sort of a few months start time, forgetting about August. But in general, finding the contractors trustworthy and that kind of thing, but finding them waiting to work is another thing. So you do have to give it a little bit of time. And another thing is as well is we do get lots of people that will move into towns and villages, and I've known people myself that's done it, that have come over here and they've said, I need a painter, and maybe from where they're from, you open the Yellow Pages or wherever it is, wherever you live, and there's probably 300 painters, and you ring round and you will get somebody. Obviously, when you're moving in the small towns and villages, there's a lot less people that are painters, for instance. You might get 1 or 2 rather than 200 to what you used to. So in terms of that, I'm not saying it's impossible, definitely not. And usually locals are the best because you've got more of a chance of actually getting something from them. But yeah, be prepared to wait for a little while. That's just the reality. Once they get started, it's fantastic. But be prepared. It's not going to happen sort of in a couple of weeks or 3 weeks. If you buy a property now, it's not going to be ready for August. I mean, August, everybody forgets about anyway. You have to think, well, we're going to be starting towards the end of the year. Sometimes it can be a year if you miss certain slots as things go off. But yeah, I'd like to say within 3 to 6 months, but it depends where you are in the area. Is it true you can't do your own renovations in Italy? Jake, it depends what kind of renovations you're talking about. What people tend to do is, in their own countries, there's certain things that you wouldn't do, and people then tend to think that when you come to somewhere like Italy, where there is this misconception where people think anything goes in Italy. That's not true. Not true at all, especially when it comes to planning and things like that. Things are very straightforward, but things are very strict. And so if you're doing things like tiling, if you're doing painting, if you're changing a kitchen, if you're changing a bathroom, if you're doing that kind of thing, then yes, you can do it. So if you're doing plastering, all that, you can do all of that kind of thing. What you can't do is structural work. I'm saying you can do whatever you want in your house, but you're not going to get it signed off if you're doing it just as a DIYer, if you like. It won't get signed off, and then the problem will be then when you want to sell the property. So if it's structural work, if it's electrics, if it's gas, then they need to be signed off by the right people. But when it comes to, as I say, tiling, doing all of that kind of stuff, plastering, a lot of different works, then you can do it. But you still need to make sure you have the permissions. You're still better off having a geometer. A geometer will cost you money. A geometer or an architect or an engineer, whoever you choose, will cost you money, but it also saves you money because they will draw up the plans and say what you're going to be doing. And you're always going to need builders or plumbers or electricians at some point during your build, and a geometer will give you a price to do the whole project. But then when you do need those builders and you do need those plumbers and those electricians, then the VAT goes down from 22% on what they charge down to 10% because you're doing it properly, using a geometer and all the rest of it. So you can do a lot yourself, but just make sure you're still doing it the correct way. Don't just presume what somebody else has done. And expats are terrible for it, especially us Brits. We like to say, no, we did this. We can do that. You can do it with no problem at all. You could be able to do something in your council, but another council you may not be able to. You may have friends that live in Tuscany that they did this and they had a pool. You may not be able to have that here. If you're buying Puglia, there's lots of areas that won't allow pools. It doesn't matter how big your garden is or whatever it is. So there's lots of rules that you do need to know about. But yeah, there is lots of things you can do, but do it the right way. The other thing to consider as well, Jake, is if you start smashing things up and leaving it outside. I actually drove past a house today, which I know has been bought recently by a foreign couple, and I saw piles of rubble outside the house. And it's not for me to say, and I don't go around thinking I'm a policeman telling everybody what to do. But if you've got that attracts attention, because the Forestale, which is the basically in our section of the Carabinieri, the police, may drive past that house. And Abruzzo is protected. We have a lot of national parks here, and most of Italy. If you suddenly have a pile of excuse me, rubble in your garden because you decided to smash up a load of tiles and all the rest of it, and then all of a sudden that disappears. That then draws the attention of the forestale, and they will say, well, I wonder where that's gone. Has it gone to the right place? Has it been taken and just, or has somebody just dug a hole and thrown it in? And believe me, there are eye-watering fines for that kind of thing. That's why it's best to do things. But even in your own country, I would guess, it's a similar sort of thing. If you just left it in your garden, then all of a sudden it disappeared. You know, people, especially in places of beauty like here, they want to know what's going off with that. So just be careful on that side. Deborah's in Palombaro at the moment. Met an expat from the US who said that Italy has established a recent law that is banning the building of terraces. Have you heard anything about this? Not at all. I've never heard anything like that. I can't say it's definitely not true. I can't imagine it ever being true. But it depends. You know, again, it depends how people are doing these terraces. There's lots of people that will, excuse me, tap on the side of their building and add a terrace on there. You can't do things like that. We have a terrace. We have a portico in front of the house and a terrace down the side of the house that has a terrace on top, and underneath is where we eat. And that had to be stood 15 centimeters away from the house. So in the past, people would just attach these to the wall. But then as time's gone on, they changed the rules. So when we did ours, it had to be a standalone structure. It had to be 15 centimeters off the side of the house. The reason for that, if the ground slips or there's anything that goes off underneath, or any, I don't know, if the foundations give a little bit, or depending on the area where you live, if sometimes you get lots of rain and then months and months of dry periods with no rain, and then all of a sudden the rain comes again and the grounds can shift. And the idea is, what the Italian law is for things like that. If a terrace starts to pull away for any reason, it's not going to pull your house down at the same time. So it stands off, and then on top, there's no gap on top. You can fill it up with tiles, but the actual structure stands away from your house. Now I think that's been increased more than 15 centimeters. I don't know if it's 20 or 25. Please don't quote me on this. But it could be something like that. So it would depend what they're asking for. And some people automatically think, you can have a roof terrace, just take the roof off. That's not always the case. It could be somebody that's buying in the historical centre, and the councils will say, no, you know, it's never had a roof terrace, and we're not going to allow it. You know, sometimes you can think you can have one because next door's got one. So then you've got more of a chance, because you've got more of a say to say, well, look, they've got one next door, so, you know, I should be able to have one. But it's not guaranteed. And also, so it depends on so many factors, Deborah. I wouldn't personally think that that's a law, because everybody has terraces here. I think it's more than likely they've asked to do one, and somebody's said no because of some of the restrictions. And there's a number of restrictions that could apply to that one person. And this goes back to, again, unless I'm completely wrong, but I will ask my geometer tomorrow just out of interest, but I cannot imagine that would ever be a law. I would guess it's somebody that's being refused something and then wants to tell everybody else that that's the case. You know, not nastily, but obviously they're giving their experiences. But every case is different, so it does need looking at properly. Yvonne, is Abruzzo still affordable for a single person with a limited budget for living expenses compared to USA? Are the homes in Abruzzo getting more expensive? Okay, great two questions. I would say, as far as the living expenses, then I've never lived in the US. I've only lived in the UK. It was a long time ago when I was there. When my parents come here, they live in the UK. They say shopping is similar. Some things are more expensive here than some of the things that they get in supermarkets in the UK. I believe a lot of that is to do with the quality of the produce that you get here. But in general, the cost of living is less than in the UK. In the US, people that move out here, who I know, and we have lots of clients from the US, tell me it is so a ridiculous amount less to live here. So going shopping, I have known people that have told me they bought 3 trolleys worth of food that would cost that would have cost triple that in the US. And I hear that so much, and especially eating out as well. So I would say, Yvonne, if you are on a tight, a limited budget, but you can survive in the US, then I would say you're gonna have happy days here. And then going back to your second half of your question, which I'm glad Tony's just turned that off. Thanks for that. The second half, our homes in Abruzzo are getting more expensive. Things are changing. I said a couple of years ago, I've always expected Abruzzo to boom. In the beginning, Tuscany boomed, and Tuscany is up there. I mean, it's nowhere near Tuscany, don't get me wrong, in the sense I prefer Abruzzo to Tuscany. I will say that every day of the week. But Tuscany obviously has its market, and it's been going for a lot longer than Abruzzo. Then Umbria jumped on the bandwagon of Tuscany, and then the Marche jumped on the bandwagon. And then just as Abruzzo jumped on the band of becoming this new place where people were suddenly researching, and all of a sudden the financial crash happened in 2008, and everything happened. And then obviously it was the long recovery. And what happened then is the other areas, the Marche, Umbria, places like that, people were coming further south. They were coming to Abruzzo because there, especially at that time, there were lots of Brits buying, and the exchange rate all of a sudden went from a fantastic exchange rate to a shocking one for Brits. So the people started coming to Abruzzo because they thought we can get so much more for our money. And that knocked things off Umbria and La Marche, and that started to flatline and come down a little bit. And Abruzzo steadily climbing, but it never had that boost because there seemed to be something going off all the time, whether it was a financial crisis, and then as things were getting back on their feet, all of a sudden COVID. But Abruzzo was still rising. Since COVID, it's gone crazy. And I was expecting this, but I wasn't expecting for it to happen as quick as it's happened. And there's lots of stories in newspapers now in Abruzzo that they're talking about the influx of especially people from the US, but also the market in general, even from Italians, because people are moving from other regions to Abruzzo, because even within Italy, it's classed as an affordable region. And believe me, when you go out and you eat here and the produce here and everything, the things that you can get here are amazing things. And people are missing that in other regions of Italy where there's too much tourism and all the rest of it. And people, and it has been written about, but for me, the biggest thing that's happening at the minute is the amount of interest and buyers there are from the US. It's incredible. It's mind-blowing. And I know we've created a lot of this from the channel and from everything else. I'm sort of blowing my own trumpet a little bit. I know other agents are doing well as well. Thanks to you guys, we've got a fantastic reputation now, and we've got lots of people that are coming and buying and the rest of it. But in general, you can just see what's happening. And this has come from, bearing in mind, when we first started doing this, I've been doing this now for 17, 18 years. It was all Brits before. It was all Brits. When I was in the UK, I was sending Brits here. Brits were buying and all the rest of it. And it was all about Brits. As soon as Brexit happened, that changed. Now it's all about, for us, I would say it's 90% US and 5% Canada and 5% Brits, maybe a little bit more from Canada. The amount of people that are coming to Abruzzo and suddenly realizing this is an incredible place. It happened with the Brits, but when the Brits started, that's when I say the financial crash happened, and then COVID happened, then Brexit happened. So for Brits, it sort of flatlined a little bit. Now the interest from the USA is mind-blowing, absolutely mind-blowing. So yes, prices, luckily, the kind of people that we deal with and the kind of agents we've got, we're still keeping people in a reality check. So we go and see houses and people say, yeah, well, I'll ask for this much, because I've heard that this is happening. And we say, well, it's okay, you asking for that, but there's another 10 that are still keeping at this price. So we're going to leave yours and we'll go to these other 10. And luckily, the way we speak to people, it's in a respectful way, but we're keeping people at this. But it's almost like we're trying to contain something that's getting harder and harder to contain, because people are seeing that all of a sudden there's masses of people buying their properties. So now's a great time to get in, I would say. I'm not just saying it for everybody to come and start buying properties now, because if you're not ready yet, I'm sure the bargains are still going to be there. I think we're a long way off getting up to those kind of prices. For Tuscany, that's taken a lifetime almost to do. But it's going where I would say that we're 5 years ahead of where I thought it would be. Okay, so let's ask another question. Then we've got Domenico waiting in the wings. So remember, next time we do a Q&A session, is there any more, Tony, that you want to that you see that is saying yes? I'll answer this one, then we'll do another one. Is Abruzzo child friendly? Absolutely, 100% yes. The best thing we did was bring our kids here. The best thing we did was bring our kids here. It's such a brilliant place to bring up kids. It's such a safe place. It does have some problems in some of the bigger cities, but you don't see, even, you know, the biggest city, Pescara, has some problems in some parts, but nothing major. And we walk around Pescara late at night, and always have done, sort of with our kids in the past when they were kids. Now they're older. But oh God, 100%. That's one of the reasons we moved here, is because the UK was becoming so child unfriendly, and we do everything as a family. Everywhere we go, me and my wife, we're together. We're with the kids, and it was becoming harder and harder in the UK, and we moved here for that reason. So if that really is something that you're concerned about, please put that to bed, because it is extremely child friendly over here. Definitely. Tony, we'll do one more. Choose the question. We'll do another one, and then we'll go. Are tours mostly suitable for townhouse buyers? Okay, Happy Hammer. The thing with the tours, the idea of the tours is to see the area. That's the main thing. To see the area and to see some properties while we're walking around the areas. And we do see a lot. We do see more townhouses than detached countryside properties, because at the end of the day, when we do the tours, if we go to, let's say we go to Vittorito, then we in one day, the last tour we did, in one day we saw 14 houses. To be able to do that, we need to have them reasonably close to each other, in the sense of so many of us can walk to one. We split into little groups if it's a big crowd, a big group, and so yeah, they do tend to be townhouse buyers. But we do see some detached properties, and we see more so on day 2 when we do the Palambaro area. But it's all about being here, and it's for people that want to come to see if it's true what I'm saying. And lots of people buy from the tours, whether it's straight after the tour or a year later. We do see more townhouses, definitely, than detached. But no, it's not all about that, and it's not all about just showing people properties to say, come on, hurry up, sign up, let's get as many people signed up as possible. That's not what we do. We go and we'll see towns, we'll walk around the town, we're going to the centres, we'll see the centre, then we'll walk to see a couple of properties, and then on to the next town. So it's not all about that. It's about coming out and seeing the place and being ready then, and thinking, yes, I love this place, I prefer this side than that side, or I prefer this town to this town. I'm more in touch with what I want now, and that's the great thing about the tours. So yeah, hopefully that answered that question. Okay, so now, yes, I know it's that time, ladies and gentlemen. It is time for Domenico and Tony's tongue twisting trials. Are you ready for this? Let's bring them on. Why did you decide to do that? Was that just
because I can? Yeah.
What's with the shirt?
Oh, well, without it, I look like I was in hospital.
No. He did say that to me. You did look like an inmate from somewhere, definitely. I'm not sure the shirt's changed that, but there you go. Let's bring Domenico on. He's patiently waiting. Buonasera.
Hey, ciao. Buonasera.
Tutto bene?
Sì, quanto tempo vediamo?
Che cosa?
Da quanto tempo non ci vediamo?
Lo so, tanto tempo. He's just saying it's been a long time since we've seen each other. I saw him about 3 hours ago when we were at the notary's office, but there you go. Okay. See, anche domani, see, and tomorrow we're going filming. Domenico's got some houses for us to film. We'll see if they're any good. Okay, so can we get rid of that ticker tone at the bottom? Just
a second.
Get rid of that at the bottom. I'm going to send Domenico his. So for those of you who just joined us again, remember earlier on in the show, Tony, in his best Italian, said a phrase from a famous film, and he's going to say it again in Italian. Then Domenico is going to do it in his best English, and at that point, then you can try and guess the film. And Tony, I will be watching the chats because I know you like to sneak something.
Well, yeah, I know you like cheating.
No, I'll keep it. Remember, the scores at the moment are 1-1. Domenico, ti mando adesso quello tuo. Tony, do you want to give yours another go again?
Yeah, I'll give it another go.
Go.
Oh, sono stanco soprattutto del male che gli uomini fanno a tutti gli altri uomini. Stanco di tutto il dolore che io sento, che ascolto nel mondo ogni giorno. Ce n'è troppo per me. È come avere pezzi di vetri confeccati in testa sempre, continuamente. Lo capisci questo?
Bravo.
Grazie.
Well done, Tom. Very good. Very good.
Oh, Tommy's gone off.
Domenico, mi sente? Sì. Io non ti sento.
Senti?
Adesso sì.
Perfetto.
Hai toccato qualcosa?
No.
I'm just asking if he touched something. That's probably not the best thing to say when you can only see his head. Anyway.
That's funny in your joke.
That could have been the humor of the week. Okay, Domenico. In your best English.
Hello.
Bye.
I'm tired of people being hungry to hate other. I'm tired of all the pain I feel and hear and the world every day. There's too much of it. It's like piece of glass in my head. All the time. No, all the time. Yes. Can you understand?
Bravo.
Bravo, Don.
Well,
No.
I think better than that, I don't think these two could have done. So let's just see if I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to give people about 10
Is that a
seconds.
compliment?
Sorry?
Is that a compliment?
A half one.
Ah, okay.
By the way, I've thought of a great
I'll
little
take
game,
it.
great little game show to do before we break up for August. Nobody is, and somebody's got it. Let me just see who's done it first. And it looks like, there we go. Art.
Oh,
Will, what's that? Will Wonderful.
oh, it was, yeah. Oh, no. Whoa.
Oh no, is he not the first?
No, because Darren was above that on the questions.
Let me have a quick look. I can't see who. Where have you got? I've got
you get Grandma saying getting better, Tony, and then you got Darren saying the green
right,
line.
I've got them both at the same time, but I think it's because one's on YouTube and one is on.
Okay.
I can't believe they got
Both
that.
the same then.
I cannot believe they've got that. Somebody put a beautiful
Oh,
mind.
yeah.
No, it's not. We have got other people. Scott said the Green Mile. If it's not Blade Runner, you can't hold back the tide with a broom. There you go. I can't believe people actually got that. So Darren and Art, the joint winners. One from Facebook, one on YouTube.
Yeah.
Well done. Bravo, boy.
Well done.
Bravo, Domenico. What can I say? 2-1 down. Ci vediamo domani.
We always rise to the top, don't we?
Buona serata. Ciao.
Ciao, Doi. Oh,
So
somebody
for
was saying earlier as well on here, how do they get onto Patreon?
Go onto the website. That's the easiest thing to do. Go onto the website. You'll see loads of adverts on Patreon, and then click on there, and it'll take you straight to the page where you can join. So so that's what you can go onto Patreon and search for A Home in Italy. But it is much easier just to go onto the website. There's loads of links for Patreon on there. Well done, Tone. I can't believe that people got that. You see how I was saying it was relevant. So this is what it's. I'm tired of people being ugly to each other. I'm tired of all the pain I feel and hear in the world every day. There's too much of it. It's like pieces of glass in my head all the time. There you go. Very relevant.
English is getting better.
It is.
Well done.
I thought that was quite good. Thank you, mate. Okay, folks. Well, there you go. We're not going to end on any depressive notes. We're going to end on all happy things as we usually do. Thank you so much for all your support, as usual. I really, really do appreciate it. I hope that you understood, some of you, a little bit more the kind of things, the kind of services that we offer to people. We wish we could offer more, but to be honest, we're at our maximum now, and we feel like we're where we need to be, and that's getting you guys into properties, and that's the most important thing. It's far more important than being a YouTuber. Just don't tell my kids that, because obviously, you know, dad's a YouTuber and all that. They've no chance. They'll never top that. They probably will, actually. But yeah, that's what it's all about, and it's all about keeping things in a community and having that community feel where people, fantastic people like lots of you that watch these shows, even though you've bought, and that even includes you, Troy, as well, even though we need to tone down the compliments to Tony. But people that have already bought here that still come on and still write fantastic comments, it means so much to us. It means the world to us. It really does. And it proves to us that people are trusting us and are happy with us. It proves to us as well that the choices of the properties that we chose and put out onto the internet are the right ones. And obviously it proves more than anything that Abruzzo is an amazing area, which it really, really is. Okay, folks, have a fantastic week. We will see you again next week, and I think it's a My Abruzzo one next Wednesday, so make sure you join us at the same time. And then Saturday's video property, a fantastic one in Palombaro. Remember, if you're looking for early access to these, then do join Patreon and become part of that club as well, which would be absolutely fantastic. And don't forget the tours. The tours are brilliant, in my opinion. Obviously, I would say that I'm a little bit biased, but come and join us. Come and join us on September. October and November is a great time to come, because that is when autumn is well on the way, and it is an absolutely brilliant time to come. September, there's only 6 spaces left. October and November, there's plenty on there, but we do expect also October to start getting booked up as well. So it's a brilliant time of year to come. Okay, I'll stop talking now. Have a fantastic week, and I will see you all again next Wednesday at the same time.